Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back. We are getting it in early today. Got a early start, about 4:30 this morning. Hit our fasted cardio, did some Normatec, did our gut cleansing routine that I posted about yesterday, and then had some breakfast. And yeah, so now we're here. We're getting it. Push day. Start off with some shoulders here, just warming up with the lateral raises, and then we are going to get some machine lateral raises, some shoulder presses, and then some chest work. So laterals, press, chest, biceps, triceps, all the good stuff. So yeah, feeling good. We got posing class today, got mobility class today. Mobility first, then posing. So hopefully we'll be a little bit more open whenever it comes to our posing positions and working on T-spine rotation, things like that. So all in all, very 100% bodybuilding focused day today. Love it. On these laterals, one of the adjustments we're kind of making is using an incline and then turning the hands kind of slightly downward, so almost like I'm pouring out from a glass, just to keep the shoulders in a good rotation. So really kind of just using a little bit more medial delt than we would with like more of a neutral hand position. One of the key benefits of using this machine versus doing the dumbbell movement that we just did, not to say that the dumbbell movement was bad, because why would we have done it? But the ability to load through the full range of motion with a machine like this, right? So because this is a rotating arm that follows the rotating arm of my arm, it means that the load is staying consistent from the most lengthened position down here at the bottom to the most shortened position up at the top. When you use dumbbells, the kind of only flaw with that is that there's a period of weightlessness for like the first third of the motion. So when I'm down here, there's not a lot of load, and there's increasingly more load as I go wider, but down in the lengthened position, there's really nothing. It's peak contraction in the shortened position, which is why it feels really good, but it's not necessarily the most optimal. Yeah, so we've just been kind of just optimizing everything we can lately. We've just been really simplifying the training a lot more, not really getting into a whole lot of intensifiers and things like that, especially now that we're on our dig days. So 1,800 calories, honestly, was not very bad. I was only at like 2,200 weeks prior to that, so 1,800 is not a really big jump. It's just more vegetables, less rice, which is fine. So we can get creative. We can do, shirataki noodles, things like that, things that are going to be lower carb, but still high volume. And then another strategy you can use is getting your carbs from more vegetable sources, right? So going like cauliflower rice versus, basmati rice. 50 grams of basmati rice might be, 25, 30 grams of carbs. Well, you get 30 carbs from cauliflower rice, you're eating a lot of rice. Or, well, fake rice. I find it's not the substance, it's the volume when it comes to diet adherence. If you're full, you're clearly not going to snack and screw up on your diet. Another big thing when it comes to shoulder raises of any kind, whether you're going front, back, anything, it's really about using basic physics in terms of creating as long of a lever as possible to make sure that that tension being applied is optimized. So really thinking about like lengthening your arm as far as you can make some pretty light weights feel pretty heavy. But if you're keeping your elbows bent and shrugging, right, like a range of motion, the lever's not as long. So the amount of force being applied directly to the muscle is a lot less. And it's going to be dispersed into other muscle groups. So think wide radius as much as you can, hands as far away from you as possible. Moving on now to shoulder presses. With these kind of compound movements, what we've always done is first two sets we'll do kind of in the 8 to 12 rep range, and then do a back down set in a higher rep range, shooting closer to like 12 to 15. Some of the thought processes behind that is mitigating fatigue. So as you fatigue, really, we shouldn't be able to use the same weights in theory. If you're doing like high intensity, you shouldn't be able to do the same weight, same load for all three sets, unless you're like really, really resting. And then you're not really optimizing stimulus. So to be able to do like a back down set, you're also, one would argue, targeting different muscle fibers. There's different fast twitch, slow twitch muscle fibers, medium twitch. Most of our muscle fibers are kind of a hybrid, maybe like 80-20, some of them being 20-80 comes to fast twitch, slow twitch. So the thought process is, with these higher loads, you want to try and hit kind of those fast twitch muscle fibers, high force production, high stimulus, and then medium to even slow twitch for some of those higher rep ranges. And another thing on top of that is your energy systems. So you think about like powerlifting, sprinting, kind of like that 1 to 3 rep range, very heavily dependent on the ATP, the phosphagen system. You get into more like the bodybuilding rep range, we're talking a lot more like glycolytic cycle. And then obviously if you're going like 20, 30 plus reps, or like going for a jog, it's a lot more aerobic. Get into like Krebs cycle stuff. So not going to get too in detail with that, but as you can imagine, you want to kind of optimize utilizing energy systems, mostly in the ATP and glycolytic range. Aerobic stuff, not so much for bodybuilding. That's why we do our cardio. Ooh. Yeah, so Made a bit of a weight jump there. You know, typically I would just be so close to a full plate jump that I would take off 25 and just go to a 45. But not letting the ego get in the way, just added 10s. And that was still probably a little too much for the second set. First set felt pretty good, so I just kind of risked it a little bit. But just about 7 reps there. The goal was 8, so we'll probably drop the weight down, see if we can make up for that one, and then hit our back down set. Okay. Yeah, that's a good weight for today. So we'll drop down, hit one more set here, and then move on to chest. Yeah, so post shoulders, the chest is obviously more fatigued, so gauging what weight we should use for this movement. Not saying that going chest first, what I'm kind of doing, but trying to stick to the plan exactly what I've written for the most part. Have a really chest dominant focus on Wednesday, and then start off with shoulder, still hit a good amount of chest, but to hit shoulders first on my Saturdays. So we'll hit 2 back down sets here in the ideally 12 to 15 rep range, and then move on to flies. One thing I have been focusing on my chest work. Easier to do on machines, obviously, and barbell work. Harder to do with dumbbells. Impossible, maybe even to do with dumbbells. The idea of sliding your hands together to create a better overall contraction and stretch in the thing. Shorten contraction at the top, and then kind of resisting more of that length and contraction at the bottom. Somewhat trying to simulate what the nuke already kind of does for you by forcing shorten contraction no matter what range of motion you're in, and then thinking about the movement pulling that muscle apart, even though you're creating inward tension into the bar, you're squeezing. Kind of a Tom Purvis RTS training tip that I received a long time ago from in cold. So definitely try it. You can try it with like even push-ups. Just squeeze the floor together and do your push-ups, and feel how much harder it is. And yeah, it'll lighten you up for sure. Oh. Yeah, an opportunity happens then. We're creating so much shortening back into the limb with a good stretch. Kind of old school Dante Trudeau stuff. So triceps, biceps, I tend to like to go kind of higher rep ranges, somewhere like 15 to even maybe 20 reps. So really just trying to get a lot of blood flow, get a good pump here. Nothing too crazy, nothing too technical. Brisket from Chipotle? That sounds risky as hell. Bubble guts? Okay. Well, I won't be having that for 12 plus 12 plus weeks, but triceps are pumping. We'll get one more set here, hit some biceps. And then, yeah, the day just keeps continuing. We got mobility after this, stretch out these tight muscles. And then later on today, we'll have posing class with Sheila, aka Flexi Brown, the greatest in the business. She's prepping 4 Olympia competitors this year. And if we play our cards right, me and Aaliyah will get 2 more for her one day. Oh. But Nick saw me on one of Aaliyah's videos and was talking shit. Yeah, so slight incline so we can get a little bit more of a stretch in that bottom position. And then just trying to maintain supination even in the rest. So as that other arm's moving, this other down arm is staying in supination. Again, just experiencing more load, more stretch, more decompression. And then, of course, just trying to keep the shoulders down so I'm not shrugging or swinging that weight up. You're fine. It's a minefield out here of tripods. Okay, so we'll move on to hammer curls. Just neutral, cable, and then be done. Just really changing up the grip position, changing up the angles, going supinated, going neutral. Just making sure we're hitting both of those bicep heads, and just kind of biasing different angles. So going more incline, right? So my arm's kind of behind me in the starting position. Now going more in front, trying to pull, just diversifying stimulus as much as possible. Ah! Ooh, okay. Let's chat about it. So, feeling pretty good. We are on day 2 now of digging. So, feeling super lean, feeling digestion's a little easier. Everything's kind of moving in the right direction in terms of body composition. Weight, not necessarily moving a whole lot this week. We were about 206.3, which we were up 207 last check-in, and then check-in prior to that, we're like 205.8. So weight kind of just stabilizing a little bit. We got 12, a little less than 12. I think it's actually, we're getting into the 11th slash, less than 11 weeks starting today. So come tomorrow, we'll be within 11 weeks into the 10th week remaining. We're starting to see some separation in terms of lat width, the waist coming down a little bit more, posing getting better and better, working on our traps to be able to open up those lats more, elevate the chest without elevating the abs. Just a lot of different things to think about, a lot of things to process. But overall, yeah, things are moving in the right direction. We are just following the plan. So we're going to get a little post-workout, do some mobility, get some stretching, create some content with Ian, and then, rest, chill, eat, and then posing class later at 4 with Sheila. So, yeah, feeling good, feeling great. Just dialed in. So mindset is where it needs to be, and we are just making moves to make it to the top. So thanks for liking, watching, following, subscribing, loving, hating, all that stuff. Bo Alexander, Adapt Fitness, Dallas, Texas, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.